This clip is sponsored by Wash and Go, and that can only mean one thing. That's right, I'm surrounded by a sea of green. By now you should know that Wash and Go is the best way to look after your luscious locks. I mean, look at what it's done for mine. Fantastic. But you don't have to take my word for it. Just look at some of the 600 plus unreal reviews on their Amazon page. Linda from the United Kingdom says, well, it smells lush and leaves hair smelling fresh. Fantastic, Linda. Kindle customer JSB says, product arrived as advertised. Always very important. Always important to know that, Kindle customer JSB. And finally, my personal favourite, it's shampoo and it works for me. Absolutely fantastic there from Casey. It is indeed shampoo and also a conditioner. If you want to get your Wash and Go today, then hit the link in the description and get your bottle sent to you today. And remember, it's a shampoo and it works for me. Update on Donnie van de Beek then, because there's a bit of an issue here. And I do think that when you are analysing football and opinion and whether you think somebody's good or bad, I like what Rangnick's doing. I don't like what I'm hearing about Donnie van de Beek. Effectively, we've got a few updates to bring, but ultimately Ralf Rangnick wants to keep Donnie van de Beek at the club because he's got limited midfield options. This is something I can't get on board with Ralf. He's been at the club long enough to have given Donnie van de Beek some minutes. I think in the Premier League, Donnie van de Beek's minutes are appalling. I don't think he's played 90. I'm not even sure if he's played 45, but he's not played hardly any minutes. You cannot keep a player who's been... And look, it's not totally Rangnick's fault, but you cannot keep a player who's been treated appallingly over the last 2 years, who has his own career to build. You cannot say, you're not going on loan because I need to keep you back as a midfield option. Even though I've not used you yet, I just want you there in case. Bollocks. No, you can't do that, Ralf. You know, at the end of the day, what needs to happen is Donnie needs to go, and if you're short on midfield options, you go and get one from the board that won't give you one. And that's the crux of the midfielder, and the club won't get him one. So therefore he doesn't want to let Donnie go because he hasn't got many midfielders. But he doesn't want to use Donnie because he hasn't used him anyway. So just let Donnie go. It's bloody ridiculous. And I don't back Ralf on this at all because he's shown no interest in using Donnie at all. So he shouldn't be able to just keep him as a security blanket and not use him. But this is the latest update on Donnie van de Beek in general. Donnie van de Beek feels upset about his situation at Manchester United as the club contemplates whether to let him leave on loan before Monday's transfer deadline. This is coming from the Manchester Evening News. So Donnie van de Beek is upset. Dressing room sources say that van de Beek believes he's been misled over his second season at Manchester United as he failed to start a single Premier League game. I mean, that's quite a damning statement, isn't it? We are in February, basically. We won't play a Premier League game till February now. And Donnie van de Beek hasn't started one Premier League game this season, and we're in February. It's absolutely appalling. And he's not the only one who's been misled. Jesse Lingard was misled. You know, and who misled him? I mean, the assumption is it's Carrick and Ollie and Phelan and McKenna because they're the coaches. But, I mean, there was big discussions last summer with numerous players about game time. And whether you agree with them or not, Henderson, Bailly, Van de Beek, Lingard, Mata were all told they were going to get first team game time, and it's not happened. And that's, to me, is why I will never look back on this last 3 years as a positive for United. Just weak decisions. Like, people were told last summer, you've got to... I mean, Donnie van de Beek, let's not forget, as we, because this is very relevant to what we're talking about now. There is absolutely no way Donnie should be settling to stay at this club. I wouldn't trust a bloody word. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't trust a bloody word. I really wouldn't, because he nearly went to Everton at the end of August. Like, he was going to go to Everton. And Solskjaer said, no, you're part of my plans. I need you here. Never started him in a game. And now the same thing's happening again. Rangnick's like, oh, no, I need you. And you're going to miss out on another loan deal. You've got to do everything you can to get out, Donnie. You've got to. You cannot trust them. It's absolutely appalling. He should have gone to Everton on loan back in August, and that's what should have happened, because he's been absolutely wasted in relation to what's happened with him and others, to be fair, but we're talking about Donnie van de Beek. So Newcastle, and this is also from the Manchester Evening News, Newcastle and Dortmund were offered van de Beek earlier this month, and Crystal Palace showed interest, but Rangnick would like to keep Donnie. United sources say nothing new has emerged regarding van de Beek's future. So we've offered him out, the club's offered him out, we found places that he can go, and now Rangnick's saying he'd like to keep him. I suppose it's down to whether Donnie's stupid enough to be convinced that he will be used. I wouldn't believe anything. Crystal Palace are, this is from Sky, this is a different update. Crystal Palace are still hoping to sign Donny van der Beek on loan. No option or obligation to sign permanently. Talks continue today. Vieira hoping to convince Donny van der Beek that it's a good move for him with guaranteed first team football. So, different story from Sky, a little bit different. Manchester Evening News are saying that Ranić is the one who's blocking it at the moment. Sky are saying that Palace are still trying to convince Donny van der Beek, and that Patrick Vieira, which we've heard over 3 separate days now, we've heard that Vieira is the one pushing this, and now, according to Sky, is convincing Donny van der Beek with the promise of first team football. I mean, Donny, first team football in the Premier League. Chance to, get into that Netherlands squad, which is what it's really all about. You can't refuse opportunities like this. Any news on Fred or McTominay getting transfer offers, says John. The funny thing about that, John, is it's always nice to have a little bit of light relief. But the funny thing is, and argue with me if you want, in the club wouldn't probably two of the last players the club would want to sell are Scott McTominay and Fred. Like, the club would no, never. We're not selling him. You can have Martial, you can have Van der Beek, you can have Ahmad, you can have Lingard, you can have Eric Bailly, but you can't have Fred or McTominay. And the funny thing is, there wouldn't be anybody. You're talking to, who are you talking to? Ed, who are you talking to? You're talking in your sleep again. Oh, I thought people were trying to. I was chucking players at them to stop them getting Fred and McTominay. It's a dream, Ed. There's nobody there. Oh, I just have these nightmares of people trying to sign Fred and McTominay. No, Ed, I'm not joking. You're dreaming anyway. Even in reality, you're dreaming. Imagine if we put Fred and McTominay on the transfer list. Who would actually buy them? What would they be worth? I'm not picking on them. I could say the same about Harry Maguire. I could say the same about. You could say the same about bloody Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, as you know. I'm just saying we have got some players at our club who are considered first teamers that I think we'd struggle to sell. In the case of Fred, who'd take Fred? I reckon there'd be some European clubs, maybe a Sevilla, someone like that. In the Premier League, though, I don't think anyone would give us any more than 25 million. Honestly, I do not think anyone would. And McTominay, I actually do think that a Leicester you'd be surprised with McTominay. I wouldn't be surprised if a Leicester or a Watford or maybe a Crystal Palace came in for McTominay. And again, you'd probably get 30 million. They're not useless. I don't mind them being bench players. I just don't think. Goldbridge, that's the end of the clip. I'm sure you enjoyed it. In fact, I bet that's the best clip you've ever watched. So there's no reason not to subscribe to the channel. Click the bell icon so you never miss a clip again. In fact, smash a like on the video because we all know only legends like videos and you are all legends. So please smash a like on the video and we will see you again on the next one. Thank you very much for watching as always.